feels good coming out. But when you get to ugly, ugly words, and one begins with a C. If somebody is calling you the C word, which is the see you next Tuesday, to me, there's absolutely zero reason to ever use that word. And if you're calling somebody a see you next Tuesday, that's as low as it can go. And don't tell me that you're an Australian and that's how you say mate.
Bring it on!
Welcome to Girls Gone Gritty. I'm Farley Boyle, girl mom.
And I'm Jennifer Brenius, boy mom.
Together, we're Team Boyle-Renius. Each other's ride
or die. This is where grit gets real. We don't just talk, we do it.
We're here for the messy stories, the hard-fought lessons, and the courage it takes to keep showing up.
Especially when it's uncomfortable. We bring gratitude and attitude to everything we do.
We jump in head first, unafraid, and are all in all the time.
We bring it on and get it on, diving into unscripted conversations on just about everything.
We don't just talk grit, we live it.
We put the it in grit.
So let's get gritty.
Hi, and welcome to Girls Gone Gritty. I'm in our Bring It On studios, and I'm bringing it on next to Jen, and it is chilly. I just got back from Florida, and it was chilly. And I just got back from London, and it was chilly. So there seems to be a little bit of a theme here.
Polar vortex.
A lot of expletives I'd like to use on that. Like when I go to Florida, I want it to be warm. I don't want it to be 27 degrees. I was home for the coldest record day in Florida history. And London, trying to get back has been a total snow shit show.
Wow. We all live in the Northeast for the seasons, and we are getting seasons this year. That's for sure. We are 1000% having a winter. And the kids are all excited about the snow when it comes. I hate the black ice. I like to say a big old F-bomb every time I slip and almost fall. I really want to say a lot about my trip to Atlantic City this past week.
Holy
because
hell.
Holy, whoa, fo. Cast of characters like I've never seen. And the casino we went to is a testament to know where you're going before you get there, because I will never set foot in Resorts Casino again. It was a scary place where the expletives were abounding from my family.
If you feel like swearing today, if you want to get something off your chest, this is the right episode, because we are talking about how swearing has become a little more accepted socially.
Expected, I'd say socially.
You know, it flows and it makes you feel better, but we're not going to discuss that yet. We're going to wait. So we're going to tee up our top three. Jen.
All right, here we go. Number 3. If you tuned into last week, you're out of here. Bench clearing at the Florida Youth Baseball League is not okay.
This story is sad. It was the ribbon cutting of this beautiful new park, and there was a kid that was an umpire, 21 years old. It's a youth game. It's a travel club tournament, and somebody didn't like the ump's call and went wild in the stands. The coach reamed him out, and the ump's parents were sitting in the stands. Apparently, somebody said something terrible about him. The parents have his back, and a full-scale brawl erupted.
3 people went to the hospital. Let the players play. The coaches coach. Let the umps do their umping. Stay in the field.
See, Dave Clark would like this. He would like the theatrics and the drama. But what happened is the ump took off his helmet because he looked behind him and saw what was going on in the stands, and he ran over to protect his dad, and he got kicked and punched from behind by the coach. The behavior is just hideous.
Terrible.
So
not okay. We need to go back to
you're out.
Decorum. Number 2. It's the 100th celebration. Yeah, for Nathan's Famous. They started as a 5-cent stand with a $300 investment, and they just sold off for $450 million.
I wish I was Nathan. Nathan had a good idea, and who doesn't like a good old hot dog, especially at America's favorite pastime? A great investment for $300 and turn around and sell it for $450 million.
$450 million to the Smithfield group of cured meats, and
they make turkey dogs and skinless dogs. They've got all kinds of dogs.
I'm a fan of working hard and having a great investment that pays off, and waited 100 years to do so. So up for them.
Exactly.
And number 1, this one's not so great. Brooklyn Beckham Bridge is falling. No, crashing down. Watch out for the pelts shrapnel that's going everywhere.
How sad. Brooklyn's actual words were they're curating what they want the general public to see. And they're a double brand because David Beckham is who he is, and Victoria has her clothing line and former posh and all these things. But they're curating the narrative. And that's what Brooklyn said he's tired of, because it's not real. When you air out your dirty laundry publicly, that must have been the most damaging thing you could do for them, because they control everything and want us to consume exactly what they paint the picture to look like. And he demolished them in multiple slides of dialogue where he sold them out and he said he's not interested in reconciling.
I can see both sides of this. There's a lot of power and wealth at stake on both sides. The Peltz family are multinational conglomerate investing group
worth 1.3 billion,
and the Beckhams are in everybody's brain because of the social aspect of both people.
And the prenups were completely crazy on both sides. On the Beckham side, one of the things he tabled was that David and Victoria asked Brooklyn to sign over his rights to the Beckham name prior to getting married. And that's pretty sad and hurtful. The brand has to be protected on some level. You have to protect your domiciles.
It's one of those situations where you have a lot of things at stake and the stakes get high really quickly. And I'm sure it's exhausting.
And they're annoyed with their families getting pulled into the media circus. They just want to be on their own, which I do understand. But once again, there's two sides of the story, and who knows which side is being presented to us. So it's a big question mark.
All news is marketable these days. Anybody that gets any kind of front page 6 stuff, they're happy on some level, because otherwise you're irrelevant.
And Nicola is up and coming, but you never want to see a family torn up. So it's sad that this is happening.
Well, which leads us to our episode, because airing out your dirty laundry 25 or 30 years ago didn't happen with the prevalence that it has today. That's what's brought us to the topic we're covering about curse words and swearing, and where does it become appropriate, and
are we becoming desensitized? I think that when you look at it with regards to the youth of America and the kids, you'd still want a firm hand that says, hey, swearing is not okay. And you don't sound good. You don't sound educated. I remember my mom said, you sound like trash. Anybody that swears, and I did not swear in high school. I did not swear in college. If I did, it was a very rare occasion, and I felt like I was sinning, and I felt like I needed to ask for forgiveness. For some reason, I married into this bigger family where they kind of fight with their words, and I am competitive. So I've risen to the occasion, unfortunately, with some of the below the belts and some of the dialogue. My husband would say, oh, Farley, you're so sensitive. You're an only child. I mean, my God, as they tell each other to fuck off and go kill themselves and whatever. And I just thought, wow, how do you talk like that to each other? And then 2 seconds later, they're going for a surf and having a beer. It's the way it's interpreted by the person that is being sweared against. If you get the bird thrown at you and you're driving a car next to somebody, that's not nice.
No.
But if they just cut you off and they threw the bird at you first, I give them a double bird, because I'm not backing down in that moment, even though maybe they could be packing heat.
I was going to say, I'm not throwing the bird at anybody anymore.
If they're riding your butt, if they're riding they're tailgating you.
No. My manner of being, and you know this, is to smile and wave. I love making people angry on the road because it's easy, and they're expecting somebody to flip them off or roll down the window and yell out like my brother-in-law will do, who completely has road rage. Chris, you are amazing. But I turn the other way just because I think it's funny to watch somebody I don't know at all completely come unhinged, because I'm like,
that would be my husband. Road rage is a totally different thing. There's so many different reasons why we swear. We can swear out of frustration. We can swear when we're like, holy shit, that's awesome. So that's not a negative type of swearing. And I read an article, and it was put together by scientists that are trying to determine whether or not swearing is harmful. Is it negative? Does it promote happiness in some ways? Yes, because some people use it as an adjective. It's not being used in a derogatory way. Other times, people use it in frustration, or they're sad, or they're down, like, God damn it, or fuck. Well, maybe that's better than punching a hole in the wall or whatever. And it's a way of alleviating stress in that moment. There's a lot of different flip sides of the coin on swearing. It's a personal decision.
It is. And I agree that there are opportunities where it's a release valve of emotion, right? It's better than punching somebody in the face. Absolutely. It's better than breaking your hand. And if that's a coping mechanism, I think that's great. What I don't love is it's become so commonplace. And the reason I tabled this idea to talk about today is if you're watching any of our mainstream news, politicians, people of levels of decorum are being desensitized to using language that has vulgarity. The problem that I have with it is I understand the release valve and I understand frustration. What I want us to think about is what message that sends to our children. This isn't a movie. This isn't at your home where you can say, well, daddy was really mad, or mom had a bad day, or grandma got really bad news, where it's justified. This has become such a
social norm
place scenario where everything is BS. And you have little people that want to know what BS is. Well, that's bullshit. And it's like, what's bullshit? It's when somebody's lying to you. It's like, why don't we just use
liar?
We don't believe the facts here. And I have an issue when we have people that are put into a place of reverence, a place of honor that
agreed
are going below the belt way too often.
It's lazy. These words are like very easy to reach and grab. So maybe you challenge yourself to not use an expletive and you try to come up with a more creative word that would mean the same thing.
Like you do when you play tennis or sports and you're not allowed to curse because women in our universe, that's not female. And that's an interesting thing about cursing is that certain demographics can get away with it.
One of my dear friends, she's funny and proper and would never swear unless she's really pissed off. She's angry. Look out.
Who's this?
This would be Liz O'Connor, but she says, Lizzie says, holy shoot. And it's hysterical because it's feminine and it's a nicer way than saying holy shit.
Right.
And there's a lot of different ways that you can still get across your slander in a nicer way. My grandmother used to say, oh my gosh, is really like saying, oh my God. Right. And I don't like that because you are taking the name of the Lord in vain indirectly.
Well, oh my God was terrible not that long ago. No. OMG did not,
Valley Girls
did not use that in a hyperbole way. You weren't just off the cuff saying OMG or oh my God, or it was very much like, wait a minute, what are you saying? But you're not referencing God. And really that's where cursing came from. It was like you were angry at God.
Right.
And that was very looked downward upon 100 years ago.
I can't stand when somebody says Jesus Christ. It's a bad habit. It rolls off your tongue. It's lazy again.
Oh my God, at least it's being used in a
positive name,
and more of a surprise way. Like, oh my God, I can't believe you got the promotion. That's amazing. Like, I don't know. And correct me, Far. I feel like the oh my God isn't used in a negative way.
You're still saying God's name, and it could be like, oh my God. Really? He's a jackass. Or, oh my God, that's insulting. It depends on how you say it. It's better not to get in the habit of doing it. I think that there's certain words that are toxic swear words. The fact that fuck seems to be cathartic and people like to say it. And now people have bling rings and tattoos. Fuck is just on trend. It feels good coming out. But when you get to ugly words, and one begins with a C. If somebody is calling you the C word, which is the see you next Tuesday, to me, there's absolutely zero reason to ever use that word. And if you're calling somebody a see you next Tuesday, that's as low as it can go. And don't tell me that you're an Australian and that's how you say mate, whatever the lie is for the see you next Tuesday. I don't like it. And the same goes for like PUSSY word. There's a visual that goes along with that. Now, sometimes if somebody is a wuss, just a total wuss, it's actually spot on and it's a perfect word. But I try to say poussoir instead of, it's like my husband. I've done this before on other episodes. When he pisses me off, instead of calling him a dick, I call him Richard.
Yes.
And if he's really pissing me off, I can say all kinds of different creative words like Richard if he's really like a fancy douchebag. There's just
which is another terrible word.
DB. I know, DB.
I hate that word.
It's terrible, but sometimes it actually just, it really is well deserved.
The funny thing about that word in particular is it was used, and my kids don't. It's now
they don't know what it is.
It's become an old word because nobody really uses that of the younger generation, and I think that's because thankfully that thing isn't used anymore.
Well, it comes now out of like a bottle.
It's terrible.
Douche bottle.
It's terrible. It's a terrible idea.
It's terrible.
It's just gross.
It is.
But I think that what's ended up happening is that the normalization of the worst word, the F word, was always the most taboo word you could ever say. Now that word has become so normalized that everything else has fallen to be acceptable as well. And words like the P word, poussoir in Farley's language, makes me angry as a female because I feel like I'm also okay with people acting feminine. I'm a female. So to me, it's some of these words, I'm like, wait a minute.
Poussoir, it is a P-U-S-S-Y, but since when does that mean weak? Mine could be really strong. I'm trying to understand, like, why did it become a word that is symbolic of weakness? Like, that's a powerhouse down there.
Because you don't have balls?
Well, yeah. I don't want balls.
I definitely don't want balls. I don't want any balls. No, thank you. Or anything else that goes along with that. Thank you very much.
There's so many ugly words that have a double-edged sword, or it's also
no double entendre there.
No, true. Sword fights. I'd rather say sword fights than, hey, there's a lot of dicks in this room. I mean, whatever. There's creative ways to get around this. However, there are words that can be said by somebody and not somebody else. And I would never in my life say the N-word. Okay. Growing up, that was as rude and as ugly and unacceptable as possible. Yet in all of our rap songs and one bro to another, it's socially acceptable. But a white person can't say it because it becomes a racial word. So there's a lot of taboo words.
Yeah.
That you have to tiptoe around. The word
honky? Because my sister used to, that was a white person. We used to use it all and say, I'm so honky. I'm like, I don't think you can actually say that.
We're allowed to call each other honkies. I don't want to be called a honky by that sister because it's a negative connotation and it's not nice. And there's another gringo.
That's a Mexican calling an American, a white person.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think those are more slurs if we're really being technical. I think the moral compass here is that if it's a word that makes someone feel badly in the manner it was used, like if you called me honky, I'd be like, yeah, I need to go get my spray tan. I'm looking a little pasty. I wouldn't be offended that like I'm being a white woman who uses the word like too much because I do.
It's the way it's delivered. It's the way it's delivered. It's the word. It's the meaning of the word. We know, according to some of our slang episodes, that bitch, some people like, yeah, she's my bitch. That's my bitch, my bae. It's the way it's interpreted. It's the way it's delivered. And it's the meaning in that moment that the person perceives the word to be. And if it's insulting, you know that you're doing it. And if you're venting because you're frustrated, then that's on you. But if you're venting in the direction of a person and you're calling them those swear words, that's bad. That's insulting. That's hurtful. I don't like where people start calling each other swear words because that's destructive. But if you just dropped something on your toe, you ran into a door, you had a little bit of a fender bender, it feels really good to say, fuck or shit. Why did I do that? And I'm yelling at myself. But if there's little ears around, monkey see, monkey do, you have to know your audience and you have to pick and choose the places, like you said earlier about our politicians and people that are in places of power. You have to be a good example. And it sounds lazy and uneducated. So test yourself and see if you can come up with some other funny words. I think I told you, what's one of the ones that I say when I'm playing tennis and I'm frustrated?
Oh,
now I'm thinking, holy shoot, but it's not.
No,
it's Mother Hubbard.
Mother Hubbard.
Sometimes if I do something dumb, that makes me feel good because I know kind of what I meant to say, but I didn't say it. Or sometimes I'll say biatch because that is an easier say that isn't so ugly, even though I know what I'm trying to get across. Or sheet. Instead of, right. Or food,
a-hole, or you're, but the point is that some politicians, I think it was the governor or one of the mayors from Minnesota said BS. And I I thought he could have done a better job at using language. He didn't say the curse word, but he implied the curse word. And I understand he was angry and emotions run high in situations. But I just feel that
I've elected you
it's
to
easier. It's lazy. It's not what we want to teach our kids. And I do recognize that we're in the media, 5 seconds of attention. I want to be the next soundbite. I want to get picked up on the news because then it's going to bring
ratings.
And therein lies part of the problem. If I've only got a 5-second soundbite, because that's how short things have gotten, then using a foul word increases my chance of it getting reshared. What I'm hoping is that some other way of being will start to shift gears, because I don't think it's okay. I'm not judging. I would like to lead by example, and I catch myself because I also think it's a pervasive thing when you're around somebody who curses. If you're in a group of athletes that everybody curses, your coach curses, your assistant coach curses, everybody on the team curses, your chances of cursing have gone up.
Yeah, it's very easy to become a part of that culture.
Correct.
And those words fly out.
Right.
They just happen. It's very true. And I remember growing up, it was absolutely not okay to curse in my house. It was, I would be grounded, dead. My mom was a teacher. It just was not acceptable. And even as I grew older and I slipped around my parents, they looked at me like, did you just say shit? And it made me feel badly because I don't think it is classy. And I do swear. And it just fires out of me because I'm married to a trader that is a Wall Streeter, and that's a fraternity of a Boyle. But some of the Boyles don't really curse. Like, I don't know that Darian curses a ton. I don't really hear, well, I don't know, in certain situations. It just depends. I definitely sucked it up and I became kind of good at it, and I don't want to be good at it, but I do think that if you make a conscientious effort and you try to twist a little bit, like vagina, it's not a curse word, but JJ sounds better. Bahina, instead of your taint. It's like like it's your, yes.
And I just learned the word taint. I prefer the word perineum. But hey, potato.
Boob, tit. There's a nicer way to reference things. The word penis is not a great word, but there are ways to change it up and still get exactly what you want across.
The other thing that has happened, not only with the push of social media, but also the push of the envelope of the arts and creative, where you didn't want to feel like you were bound by social norms. People are testing the boundaries on what's acceptable and what gets people's attention. I do understand that.
You're going to fit in. You're going to be more cool if this group does swear and you don't.
Right. But the pendulum that swings in societies, and I feel like our pendulum has swung too far. This is an area that I would very much like to be more seemingly educated by the manner in which I speak. Choosing your words is a deliberate and intentional way to communicate. And I would love to see some of the people who get the ears of the masses be more intentional with the way they speak.
If you're having a conversation, if you're asked to speak in front of a group of people, you want to be articulate, well-spoken, well-versed, and relatable. If you're talking to a group of teenagers, you want to be cool and be one of them. Figure out a different way to say something. And they might think it's silly. My kids call me out on it all the time. And they've definitely heard me use the real word. But when I try to change it up and do something more creative, it becomes funny. Right. And they laugh about it. So that's our challenge to you. Be creative. And that leads us to our Got Grit Award winner of the week. And it's not one person. It is a group of people. Jen, take it away.
Our Got Grit winners are highly intentional. They are the monks that walk for peace. And this group of 12 monks began their journey back in October in Fort Worth, Texas, and they are walking 2,300 miles. They're taking 10 states by storm. They are through Texas, Louisiana, North Carolina, and Virginia. They're going to Maryland and DC. They are Vietnamese American Buddhist monks, and their temple is in Fort Worth, Texas. They are walking for the spiritual imbalance that they feel is happening. And they want to bring awareness not only to the meditative prayer on foot that they take every day, but they want to awaken the peace, showing that peace is created through patience. They're sharing peace, love, kindness, and compassion across the United States and the world. And they only eat one meal a day and sleep under trees while practicing humility and focus. They are also giving flowers on their journey. And they have a cute little dog,
a Coca.
Farley is obsessed with, for obvious reason. If you know Far, she's obsessed with little heart that is on the front of his forehead, and he is so cute, although he's taken a little hiatus because he was a rescue dog from India and had a pre-existing condition.
Akoka has his own Instagram page, and if you want to follow the monks, they are walkforpeace.usa on Instagram, and it's just a little daily dose of joy. Akoka, it represents that dogs and animals are peaceful as well. That's what it should be like for all of us. We should want to be with the people we love and be peaceful, and that this movement is symbolic of joy. And we need more of this. So follow them on Insta so that you can get this little bit of joy every single day in your feed, and you'll be happy. The heart on Akoka's forehead reminds me of how a tabby cat has an M. And I don't know if you guys know the story, but they say the Virgin Mary touched the tabby cat right between the eyes, like on the bridge of their nose, and thanked him for keeping Jesus warm in the manger. And I have Bibi, who is a tabby cat, and she has a very pronounced M. And I think Akoka was blessed by God because it's a heart, which is symbolic of love and peace. It's pretty amazing. They find a rescue dog with a pronounced heart on his forehead. I don't believe it's a coincidence.
No, when this dog marries not only the energy of being a stray that follows these 12 monks around, but also embodies the spirit of just being a part of a movement and getting that energy of love, boundless, that animals provide. They don't do anything except for ask for our love. And that's really what these monks are asking for, is just for each of us to love one another a little bit more, to understand, to bridge the gap, and not have to do it with words and not have to do it with anything other than intention.
And the name Aloka, Aloka, for those of you that want to follow on Insta, means light.
Yeah.
So adorable. And Jen has an enlightening song for us.
And the song of the week for Girls Gone Gritty embodies just the insanity that life can sometimes bring you. If you're not on that intentional walk, if you're having a day full of curse words, can we forget about the things I said when I was drunk? I didn't mean to call you that. I can't remember what it was I said or what you threw at me. Please tell me why. My car is in the front yard. I'm sleeping with my clothes on. I came in through the window last night, and you're long gone. It's no surprise you are to me, my worst enemy. And I think that mostly is yourself sometimes. So back to our episode, try and embody these monks that are a positivity of light and love and peace, and try and control your curse words and yourself, and don't be your own worst enemy.
And if you do not control your words and you call somebody something, remember, go back to our apologize episode. Apologize, own it, and hopefully that'll make it better. That song, My Own Worst Enemy.
Yeah.
We are our own worst enemies. And that song feels really good when you're in a mood. Turn it up, crank it, sing it as loud as you can. And maybe that is your therapy.
It's so good.
It's so good.
All
right. Well, thanks for tuning in.
All right. Peace.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Girls Gone Gritty.
Visit us on Instagram, Facebook, and now TikTok.
If this episode hits home, share it with someone who needs to get gritty.
Own it and put the it in grit.
See you next episode.